No, you need to be quiet. You need to be quiet. I'm having enough issues all on my own without you. Hello, people. Oh my goodness. Hello, my peeps. Okay. If you saw me just like 30 seconds ago, I have to figure which way I have to go. Somehow my thing's not quite centered. I was doing my little happy dance because despite the fact that I am late, I'm here. So, and today it's not actually my fault. I don't think. I have no idea. Obviously, somehow something changed, but let's just say it's not my fault because that makes me feel better. Um, when I first went to try to get Zoom to open up, it um, it crashed, and it said, "Do you want to do a crash report?" And I just looked at it and thought, "Oh, are you kidding me?" And so, me being, the tech savvy individual that I am, I said out loud, alone in my office, to my computer, "No, I just want to push this button and I want you to work." I pushed the button and it worked. So I don't know why the first time it crashed. I'm like, "Do you want to do a crash report?" No. Off it goes again. I'm like, yes. So then there's some new stuff. I don't know if it's YouTube or Zoom, but it's like, "Hey, do you want to try a new pop-up thing? Hey, do you want to?" No, I want you to just stop popping things up in front of what I'm looking at. So then I get it open and everything is backwards. Now, as you can see, that way, nope, that way. It says "the paper pusher" on the left side of my screen, right? Okay, well, that was on the right side of the screen, but it was like backwards, like all the writing was. And in my head, all I could think was, everything's backwards. I can't do this. It's going to drive me nuts. Like all the writing, everything. And I thought, okay, but once I start making the cards, it'll be fine. And then I'm like, nope, because when I put this, may or may not get used, it's just on my desk. Like even the labels, everything's going to be backwards. It's going to be super annoying. So unfortunately my IT department is out on an errand right now, a couple errands that he's doing. Hence the reason that I have like my fingers and my toes crossed that the dog does not bark at anything too much, because if my son was home, he would just go down in the basement with him, but he's not. So I decided to conquer the challenge myself, and I went into the Zoom stuff and I started clicking buttons, as I do, because I have no idea what I'm actually doing. And there was something about video effects or something. And I'm looking at all these things and I'm like, no, no, no. And it said mirror video, and that was turned on. And I'm like, why would mirror? That's what I mean by backwards. So as soon as I turned that off, voila, here I am. Oh, gong show. Yeah, technology, man. But I'm back. Yay. I don't even know when I was here last. Sometime before October night, or October, geez. If you ask me what year it is, I'd probably get that wrong at this moment too. I know it was sometime before August 19th, because that was a bad day. But I'm back. And I may or may not get cards made today. Hey, let's see. Because seriously, at some point, if my son does not time it well, he's going to walk in the door, the dog's going to lose his nut, and it'll be so loud nobody will be even able to hear. So my thing, it does not 100% seem like it's displaying properly. So if you're having issues or you're not actually seeing anything, if you're not actually there, let me know. Okay. That's like when you do attendance, anybody missing? Yeah. But I'm going to try. Let's just say that. Okay. So I had an awesome time on Saturday. Nice little group. And we got together. We got to look at all the stuff. Dude, quiet. His name is not Dude. I did have a cat named Dude once, though. So I really need to try to keep the squirrels in check today. But speaking of squirrels, I have this planner subscription because I can't find a planner I want, so I make my own because that's how I roll. Well, the October one happens to be squirrels. And good Lord, people, look at this little like squirrel hiding behind the leaf. Look at him. So these are like the little stickers that come with it. Even the little acorns. Whoa. Yeah. And then there's like all the labels for like the months and the years and stuff. So this actually came today and I was like, oh my God, if squirrel doesn't capture the moment, I don't know what does. So this is from Hubman and Chub Girl, which is a company in Toronto. They also have just recently opened an office in the US. So the US ships from Houston. The rest of the world ships from Canada, from Toronto. And they have the most adorable little things. But anyways, yeah, so squirrel. Squirrel. Okay. Trying to stay focused. Just a minute, because usually I can do this, but all of a sudden lost all my motor skills. There we go. Okay, so anyway. Oh, seriously. Okay, one more squirrel moment, and then I'm going to try to focus. I don't have everything as prepped as I want to today because I stopped on the way back from getting a haircut. Because it was one of those things, my hair has been driving me nuts for like 6 or 8 months. It's getting too long. But all of a sudden it was like, if I don't get my haircut soon, I'm taking out the scissors. So I got an appointment for today, and it was the only one I could get, and I'd have to wait too long. But I was like, whatever, I can make it work. Sorry, just a minute, my IT is texting me. So that was just before this. So on the way back from getting my haircut, I stopped in the mailbox. Hence the reason I have the freshly opened squirrels. Now you would think stopping at the mailbox was would be uneventful, right? You just pick up the mail. No. Oh my goodness. Sorry, my son is picking something up. And he's being a teenage boy is what he's being. So just a minute. Okay. There we go. Let's see if he'll stop texting now. I don't like to not text when he's out driving because, anyway, it's not that I don't like to not text. I don't like to not answer his or at least check them. So anyways, I go to the mailbox and I swear there's more envelopes in there that I took out. Like I thought I saw 2 or 3 envelopes, like card size envelopes. And then I had my subscription. And when I pulled out it's a bigger envelope. And then when I pulled it out, sure, there was one more envelope underneath. So I take these out and I'm like, look at this. And people have been very generous and gracious. And I thought it's a stack of sympathy cards. Like totally did not surprise me, right? I've got some lovely ones and I will take some pictures for fun. So I get home and I get in the car, I drop them in my purse, drive home. Get home, get out. I'm going to make myself tea and then I'm going to come in here and prep. So I come out, I grab this stack and I'm like, oh, I got to get the other ones that I put in the stack because I thought I might show them today, but I'll have to do that a different day. I'm already way behind, but I'll do that on Friday for show and tell. So I go to grab the other ones. And then when I get to them, there's only 2 cards there. And I thought, well, there's more. So I have since sent my son out to check the seat of the car, go back to the mailbox and see if I dropped them on the floor or like on the ground or something or what, because there's more. And I'm sure the top one that I saw had Tamara's name on it. And she sends out cards to the team at the beginning of each month. I know that. So I was like, yeah, this makes sense. One of them's that. Okay. So I get home, there's only 2 cards. And I'm like, okay, first off, have I lost them somewhere or did I just imagine the other ones? And then I noticed that the 2 I have, the return label is Stewart. Me. And I was like, what? So I got 2 cards back that say return to sender. And I have to do a little bit more research before Friday. One of them says, enjoy your new digs. And the person I sent that to, I am almost positive, bought her condo and moved in pre-COVID. The other one was from a swap, and it's a swap that was long enough ago that because I didn't put like a white sheet, a stamped sheet on the inside of the card, I must have just missed it. So I must have been new to stamping, and I can tell by it's the Viking set. I can tell by that Viking set came out, was only out for a little while, and then retired. So I would have only been able to use it for a swap, like while it was still current. And I think that was 3 or 4 years ago, maybe even more. So I got 2 letters that never actually made it out of the post office because they don't have a date across the stamp. They just have a line on it and a return to sender from 3 to 5 years ago. This has like totally short-circuited my brain. I think I'm gonna have to go at some point and ask go to the main post office in town, which we had lots of issues, especially during COVID. and just say, like, have these been sitting somewhere for the last 3-4 years and you guys just found them? Like, what the hell, man? Anyways, so it has been just a weird. It's been weird. Okay, squirrels, light up and focus now. Very fun on Saturday. If you were there, you got your catalog and your flyer. If you didn't, I've got like some extra ones and I've got them printed and ready, but I have too much going on and I have appointments this week and my son in school, and that I have not had the time to drive around and drop them off at people's houses. So if you haven't got one yet and you want one, let me know, because I will pop it in the mail or I'll pop it out on the porch if you're local. You can, or I have a little planter on my driveway. That's actually easier because then the dog doesn't hear you and he doesn't lose it. The new catalog is out, and the awesome part is we can flip through it now and show you the insides. Lots of good things in this catalog. So much fun. And I'm going to actually, I was going to say, make sure this is mine. I'm actually going to show you something out of this today. There's a whole big thing going. Stampin' Up! This time also did a flyer for the online exclusive release. So there's a bunch of new stuff that released online. This fall stuff, oh my goodness, this paper, you're going to see it in a minute. It's right there. And so many good things. This embossing folder, I absolutely love it. It's on one of these cards too. Then we have the stuff we're using for extravaganza. Then there's this really cool snowflake set. There's a whole bunch of bundles and little bits and pieces. So if you are a demo or got a different flyer and you're like, wait a minute, that's not exactly what the flyer looks like. No. Stampin' Up! Made their flyer 9 pages long. Stampin' Up! Wastes a lot of paper. So this is, I cut this off the front page, got rid of the front page because it just had 2 pictures on it. The next few pages are as they were. And then there was a whole bunch of pages that showed like bigger pictures. And so I just like took those pages out. And the only thing important on those pages was it told you the number, like the ordering number and the price for the bundle. So I just added those on here because me and Canva, we friends. So yes, if you're wondering, my flyer looks slightly different because I made mine 5 pages, not 9, because I knew I was going to print them and I didn't want to waste any more paper than I had to. Anyways, you need those, let me know. You can see all of this stuff online now. It went live last Wednesday. And like I said, there's some good things in there. Okay, I'm getting rid of my catalog before I need to, because I actually need it. Find my page again. Now, I put in yesterday's newsletter the picture I took, which was a screenshot, which I don't even know what I did with it now. Somewhere I had it here just a minute ago. Seriously, squirrel. Of the new Stampin' Up! The new paper pumpkin dies that are coming up. Oh, the sun's going to shine just perfect on my screen. So these, we just got the flyer today. So these are the dies. They go live tomorrow. I will be ordering tomorrow. I think I've already talked to, or like sent a little note to those of you, or talked to you on Saturday. If you're a paper pumpkin subscriber where you have me listed as your demo, and you have been for at least 3 months, then I'm buying these dies for you as a little perk of being a paper pumpkin subscriber. Seriously, that's going to be just like right where I put stuff is where that line's going to go. Every quarter, a new set of dies come out. And so this is, I had to think what the word was. So these dies will complement the October, November, and December sets. So then to my delight, this morning, I got the flyer that gives you like the little sneak peeks of the next month. Because usually you can look at these and go, ooh, what do they go with? So the Joy complements October's. I'll print this in next week's newsletter. Or put it in. So next month, paper pumpkin. Oh, you can't really see very well, can you? I'll get a better picture. It's called Cozy Christmas. And it's got little velvet, like little flocked pieces in it. And it's quite traditional. It's got the word joy. There's some bigger joy cutouts and some pointed setters, as we call them. Can't remember what the other one is. 3 designs. It says 9 cards, 3 each of 3 designs. I can't remember what the third one is. Something. They're all very nice, and they're Christmas. They're traditional Christmassy, and I say that in that it's red and white and green and traditional imagery. I want to say holly, but now I don't remember. We get to see a little sneak peek video, but I can't remember. I'm very excited about November because look at the little treat boxes. Anybody who needs to make treat boxes, this is awesome. And it looks like they can either be light on the outside or dark on the inside. It says delicate greenery pieces with double-sided printing at a sophisticated touch. It also says something about, there we go, perfect for holding gift cards or small treats. So I would think that this is, we've had similar kits in the past. So they're not like huge boxes. They almost look like our mini paper pumpkin boxes, but I don't think they're quite that big. So, but they are big enough for a gift card. That's the important part that I wanted to point out. And then this one, so December is always like a non-holiday thing. It gets you like ready for the next year somehow. So this one, loving the blues, love these colors. You can see like a little color thing down here at the bottom. Awesome. Here's the intriguing part. Personalize your card greetings with customizable sentiment stamps. I have not seen them use that wording before. I'm very excited to see. I have a feeling maybe these are all like each word is an individual piece. So you can line them up, or you can, because then you can make your, I don't know. I'm super now excited for December. But anyways, so there's little sneak peeks. Here's the thing. I'm doing a group order tomorrow morning. Yes, today's Wednesday. I'm doing a group order tomorrow morning. So if you want those dies or anything else, let me know by midnight tonight, because then I'm going to bed and then I will get up in the morning and order. Or I might order at midnight. One never knows. It depends how I'm doing. There's lots of good stuff out. But anyways, I will do it. You get shared shipping by doing it that way, so it kind of helps a little bit. Not sure if you want to order anything? Let me help you there. So these are the 2 new kits that came out on the 3rd or 4th. I can't remember now which day it was. I have a calendar in front of me. 3rd of September. This is the first of the Christmas kits. So it's a no stamping kit. So the sentiments are here on labels and they're in 4 different languages. But it's the little red truck, you guys. And look at it. There's 2 different designs. There is 8 cards. It's only $20. That's a heck of a deal. Plus shipping and tax. I add on a few more. But yeah, very excited. I did order this. Mine is coming tomorrow. And so I will make it either on the weekend or that'll be what I make next week. The other one that just came out, and we are using this for World Card Making Day. So if you're coming to Extravaganza with us, you got everybody one of these kits. We're using it there. But this kit, and it's a bigger kit and it's a bigger price point. Well, let me point out a few things. It's 10 cards. It's a stamp set. There's a little ink spot in it. And the ink spot, I always make the surrounding color, the color of the ink spot, if there is an ink spot. In some cases, I just pick the color that's like predominant in the kit. But in this case, this is Secret Sea, which is the new in color, which is such a fantastic color. But you notice it comes with this card carrier, card organizer. So you can see here, it'll come flat. So you're just going to like pop it up. And then there's these dividers that go in it. So you have it so you can have like the cards and the envelopes and your bits and pieces in front. And it's this lovely Secret Sea color. So this is like a big set with a thing for, and this is like it'll be heavy duty. It'll be good. Like you can keep it on your desk and use it for years to come kind of thing. So those are the 2 newest kits. There's 3 kits that come out on the 1st of October. I know for sure. I don't know for sure. I should not say that. Based on my experience with Stampin' Up, at least one of them is going to be Christmas. And because I can open the catalog now, I'm pretty sure it's going to be this, which I really hope, because I'm trying to organize a sort of a charitable thing where people sponsor kits. I buy a whole bunch of these kits with these adorable Nutcracker soldiers in them. And we turn these into cards to give to the deployed Edmonton soldiers. So, or you can just buy them for yourself. But usually this is in the front of the catalog. So usually there's a sneak peek. Like this is one of the kits that came out. But generally Christmas kits are out by October because people got a lot to do and they need the time. I would think that it's possible there's going to be, oh my goodness. Another card kit. I don't know that for sure. And then I think at least 2 of them are going to be Christmas because this is some kind of Christmas organizer. See where my thumb is? Sorry, I got my hand in the way. See where my thumb is down here? This is some kind of Christmas organizer. It's got Christmas on the front. It says remembering Christmas, or not necessarily organizer. It could be like a scrapbook. It's got it looks like a little binder or a little folder of some kind with like a tie around it. So I would think these 2 kits, and maybe a third, I don't know, are coming out on the 1st of October. So I will let you know as soon as I know. But very excited about upcoming like fun kits and things. So yes. Okay, so group order, let me know by tomorrow. I'm going to post some stuff afterwards. I'll try to remember to post those things. The final thing I want to say is I have plans for a class in October and a class in November, based on the consensus at our thing on Saturday and that's part of it, is to show you all the stuff, tell you what my plans are, show you a bunch of samples. In the last week, because I've been trying to catch up from being sick and catch up from being off and do a open house. I have made a few cards. I was making, and this isn't even all of them. I have some over there too for extravaganza. I was making samples so that everybody could see like some ideas for what I had for classes and stuff. So I got feedback on that, did a little tweaking. Everything's good to go now. I just have to get the pictures taken and the cards done and get the things, and I'm just finalizing a couple dates of things. But it looks like the 18th of October, which is a Saturday afternoon, and the 29th of November, which is a Saturday afternoon, we'll be doing 2 more card classes. I'm going to work. I have my OG group. I sent you your email this morning. We're figuring that date out at the beginning of November. And then the soldier thing, I haven't 100% figured out. I'll let you know as soon as I know. And then if there's enough demand, or if like a really cool kit comes out that we can do just the kit, we'll add something on. Okay, that's 15 minutes of that. That's my limit. 15 minutes of business now. Let's make something. Okay, so in the catalog, and mine is written all over, there's this page, which I looked at as it went by. And I will tell you that when I was flipping through the catalog, because I do it like a real quick pass over of, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then I go back again and I go, ooh, look, and I pay more attention. And then usually when it comes time to order is like my third review. But I think it was somewhere along the second way when I actually start looking at the samples and stuff too. Absolutely love this sample. It's the simplest card in this probably layout. And I absolutely love the sample. I also love the image that's on it and just the stuff. I just love it. So it turns out that there's a method to the madness. It said one sheet wonder. I love a good one sheet wonder. And we had a demonstrator event. Seriously, I'm sorry, but the last like 6 weeks, actually about 8 weeks. So the time has kind of lost meaning at this moment, but somewhere in the last little while, we had a demonstrator event. It was a craft along. I had signed up. It was the end of August. I had signed up for it sometime in July. All of a sudden it pops up and I'm like, yay. No idea what we were doing, but it was a nice, like, hey, I'll just watch it and see what happens. I like to wing it. Well, it turns out the craft along is on the one sheet wonder that's in the catalog. So we have this sheet, and I'm gonna kind of walk you through some stuff. And I don't, like I said, I don't know that I'll finish the cards. There's 2 reasons for that. One, squirrel, and I'm late, but also I don't have all the dies I need because I want to use a certain set. But just know that I will post this afterwards because Stampin' Up sent us this and said we could give it to you guys and we could do classes, or we could, like, if we are hosting events, we could hand it out. So I'm going to give it to you because it shows you how to cut the piece of paper, which I'm also going to show you. Cutting the paper, easy peasy. But it also kind of gives you an idea of what the card layouts are. So if you want to match them up to here, you can. This is what they did. They had written in their book, like which piece of paper went with which card and which card was the sample in the book. So I can maybe take a picture of this for you too. I was writing as they were doing the event for us. They were showing us samples and showing us some different techniques you could do. So it was like one sheet wonder and techniques. It was like, woohoo, right? But I realized afterwards that I was writing them to match the cards that she was showing us that she was making. And so some of them already actually said that, like said the little techniques around the outside. I just wasn't paying attention. And so some of them, this one says, dress up your patterns with Stampin' Blends. This one over here says, color or doodle on the DSP. Okay, that's what I wrote, right? So this one is the same as this one, but in the thing we watched, number 2, like her second card, that's the technique she used. So it's all, there was so much going on. It was lots of fun. But anyways, and then, so I started making my cards. I don't have all the dies because I gave them to Tamara so she could cut for extravaganza, which is very exciting, and she's done. Woman's a machine. So that's one of the things while Merrick is out, he's going to bring me back my dies, and then I will be able to finish the cards. When I make, you see this pile in the corner here? When I'm designing things, I tend to cut just a whole bunch of stuff and a whole bunch of pieces, and there's like extra sentiments and things, and we got this. I got all sorts of stuff from when I was designing the cards for extravaganza. And then I just have all these leftovers, and they kind of sit on my desk till I either put them away or pull all of them out into other cards. So I'm going to see if I can make these work for now, but they're not the same colors as the paper I want to use. They're close, so we'll see. But anyway, so this is what I started to do, right? And then the other day, our artisans, Stampin' Up! As artisans. It's on my goals list. And these are like great crafters, and they Stampin' Up! Sends them a bunch of stuff, and they make stuff and they post it. And so they're not beginner crafts generally. They're amazing crafts. So then one of them, oh darn. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I think it maybe says Pamela Blackwell. You can go to Stampin' Up! And it's either every Tuesday or every Thursday the artisans post, so you would be able to find it in there. But I love fall. I told you I love this pack of paper. This, funny enough, is the set I'm using, the branching out dies and stuff. She just put it onto fall paper, because do not be limited by your stamp sets. One of the things I'll show you when I get around to posting all the cards, I took one of the Christmas sets and made a card with flowers and butterflies on it, using only the stamps in the Christmas set, and made a birthday card out of it. That's right. So yeah, just because it's Christmas, it's not limiting. This is foliage. This is the greenery card. So then I saw this one and I was like, oh my God, look at how awesome that is. So this is the same idea. This is her one sheet wonder from the same thing. So the possibilities of what you could do with like just starting, plus I'm going to change a few things. That's why I'm going to show you. Anyways, I should really get started or I'm not going to get anything done. But I'm going to give you the basics of one sheet wonder. So because I already cut my piece of paper up, I was going to have finished cards, but hey, I'm here. That's, step one. Woohoo. But this paper is amazing. Look at this paper. Oh, I love fall, the season itself. It's the best weather of the year. I love the colors. I love the feel. I love knowing that summer is behind me and I have 3 seasons to go before I have to deal with heat again. Not a summer person. I am a winter person. But yeah, and fall crafting, like all these supplies. Oh my goodness, like look at how gorgeous this stuff is. I'm trying to do it slowly, but so it doesn't all do that, but that's okay. So it's just got the most amazing papers and things in here. This one matches the embossing folder. So anywho, I really was meant to actually take one of these out. How about I take, I might actually take this one at the end because I haven't used any of that one yet. So the idea behind a one sheet wonder, and then you know what, because I'm not going to be able to get both made, but because I have more prep than the other one, I'm going to, I couldn't decide between the two of them and I went with the other one, and now I see what she did with the fall, and here I am back again. I'm also wondering, what did I do with those little die cuts I had left over from Saturday? Oh, there they are. Oh, this is one of the other things that comes with this fall suite, is there's this brown foil paper, and I embossed it, and then I die cut it, because you got to do as many things as possible. Oh, it's gorgeous. And this, look at this. Oh, I have to color it still, but it's still gorgeous. Okay, so all of a sudden it looks like it got, I didn't even turn the light on in here. All of a sudden it looks like it got very dark. Okay, so here's the thing. I buried my catalog. If you're good and just like looking and guessing, you could look at this paper and realize that this paper is cut into thirds and then cut into pieces and match it up to the cards. And you could probably guess and figure out all the different size papers just by doing a little, like this is the full size, so that makes it. But yeah, Stampin' Up! Went and was very nice and put this little thing in here with all the sizes. So you can see that this layout matches this layout. Okay, so I'm going to show you how quick it is to cut this paper though. Now, ideally you want to pick a paper that is not directional because it gives you more options. But if your favorite paper is directional, then just make it work, right? Like just cut it the way that makes it work. But here's the thing worth noting, and maybe this is what spoke to me, is all of these cards are designed as portrait, right? So if you have a pattern that is going this way, make sure you cut like the right direction to start with. A lot of times with a one sheet wonder, you're better off, or like there's double sheet wonders. You can do them with 6x6s, all sorts. I've showed bunches of them before. But one of the things you want to make sure you do is pick a paper that has the most versatility. And I will show you when we get to the other one that I did not do that because it's what I wanted to do. But actually, I won't say you have to pick a paper. I'll just say it's easier if you pick a paper that has the most versatility. So this one I love. This one is a very basic setup. For what we're doing, it's going to work. I don't know that Stampin' Up does this because they generally have like a bold, like main design that goes, and then usually a more subtle complementary design. I don't know that they would have both sides where both sides are directional and the directions don't match. So you're probably good that way. But just make sure you realize you're making portrait cards and you're cutting this up in pieces. And so imagine how these are going to go before you start cutting. What we're going to do to start, and this is one of the easier ones. Some of them are different. This is one of the easier ones, is we're going to cut a 4-inch strip. And I'm moving them off to the side, and I did this the last time too. And it really doesn't matter. They're all 4-inch strips, but somehow I kept them in order because, maybe it matters. And we're going to cut a 4-inch strip. And now we have another 4-inch strip. We just cut it in thirds. Then, I'm going to stick this on there. We're going to cut, that's not the cutter, a 1.5-inch strip. And when you cut paper, the side that is up is usually considered like the side you're going to use. And when you cut, your cutter tends to, like, it pushes down. It's the same if you're embossing or die cutting. It sort of pushes it down. So you get a cleaner edge this way than you do on the reverse. On the reverse side, you get a bit of a lip. It's very easy. You just take your bone folder and you can just run like this on the side of the paper a couple times on it. Careful not to like jam it and bend your paper. And now I've gotten rid of that lip and it's fine, right? So if you looked ahead of time and had it all planned out, you could be flipping your paper as you're cutting to get the nicer edges, but I haven't figured out anything yet. I'll be honest, I haven't. So I'm just going to keep cutting all on the same side. But if you know for sure you're doing one card one way and one card a different way, cut accordingly. Okay, so this is 5 1/4. So these are 4 by 5 1/4, which you will know is basically, look what does not go together. Is basic, actually it's not as bad as I thought, is basically a standard card front. Right? Oops, sorry. I'm so low down there. Right? 4 by 5 1/4. So these are basically 2 card fronts, and then the other strip is 1.5 inches. So yeah, I guess if you decided you were cutting along, it's 1.5 inches. Now the one in the middle, again, it's a 4-inch wide strip. We are going to cut 3 3/4. And this is what I'm doing. I'll show you afterwards if it matters. It would matter. No, I don't actually think it even would. I was going to say if there was like a directional pattern that you wanted to keep in order, but they're all going on separate cards. So it really doesn't matter. I just can't help myself. So that one is by 3 3/4. This one is 5 1/4. And this leaves 4 by 3. 4 by 3 is a fairly standard size for cutting DSP for cards because paper is 12 by 12. So 4 and 3 both divide evenly. So you can get, it's either 12 or like if you do 4 by 4, no. Yeah, if you do 4 by 4, you get 9. If you do 4 by 3, you get 12. If you do 3 by 3, you get 16, right? So it's one of the more common sizes of cutting up DSP. So 3 by 4. Now our last 4-inch strip, we're going to do the same thing as we did the first time. And we're going to cut 1.5 inches and then 2 5 1/4. I'm just double checking. Yes. And I'm going to move this out of the way. So now, and I might, just to make it easier, I'm going to do this. Flip some of the pieces over. Oops. Just to make it. Okay. So now, you can see that I have all these pieces which match this diagram, right? And then I will, like I said, I will take a picture and post it as well. I don't know if I guess I can on this one. I'll just make it look neater than it currently does. But like for this one, which one goes with which if you're trying to match them up. So what Shannon did when she started, and she said, if it makes it easier, so she wrote the number of what card goes on what paper. So you can see that this one in the bottom corner goes to 1. This goes to card number 2, card number 3, card number 4 gets 2 pieces, card number 5 gets 3 pieces, card number 6 gets 1. Right? So that's awesome, but I don't have any card bases in the right color for this. So I'm going to go back to my other set that I have cut. I will make stuff out of this. I'm actually going to keep these close by though, because you'll notice when I show you the next thing that this is actually, the more I look at it, is a perfect paper choice, if I do say so myself. Oh, and I do have card bases, I think. Oh yeah, that's basic beige. Look at that. So I'm gonna do it this way. My desk isn't big enough to show you all 6 at once anyways. Sorry, I'm shedding like crazy after the hairdresser. There we are. So card number 1 is a card with a base on it. Now, I told you they were doing techniques, right? So on the first card they did a little bit of ink blending. So you can like use your blending brush and highlight a spot here. So I could take maybe my espresso or my Cajun and highlight a kind of a circle here, so that I have I wish I had a card. I don't have a card handy that I can show you that on, but so I could have like a highlighted section, and then I could put my greeting in a couple little cutouts, or even just a greeting in front of that highlighted section. So that's like one of the techniques. So this has got a light enough background that if you did use a blending brush, it would actually show up. So that's one of the techniques. Card number 2 is also a full piece of paper, and they were coloring or inking on the DS, or like drawing on the DSP. So you could go and you could highlight like the mushrooms. You could take your little espresso marker and you could go around and you could highlight. You could actually, if you really wanted to, if you had time to spare, you could go and like outline all of these things, and it would make them really pop from the background. There's little bits of spacing here. You could go in and put like little swirls or little squiggles or like whatever you could draw on this paper, right? It does work quite well. If you really wanted to go to town, you could turn it around and draw an entire picture on the back because it's blank. But let's go to no on that one. Number 3 also turns out to be a full card base. But in this case, the technique is that one of the techniques they showed was to put either an embossed layer, or in the one they're showing in the catalog is this great die that is like a die cut of the all the leaves, like a border, a border of leaves around it. But let's just pretend that oh, maybe this does work. So in this case, the idea is you could put a piece behind it, and then you could cut out, like fussy cut out some of the dies, or like something from the paper, and put it on, right? Because you could always do that. There's lots of die sets that match some, like they don't match every image on the paper, but usually if you buy a bundle and it's got a paper with it, there'll usually be 1 or 2 of the dies that you can put on the paper and cut out images on the paper, which gives you professionally colored and paper. So I could cut out a couple of these images and put it on top of like a background, right? So that's the idea behind number 3. You could also, if you have a set that has die cuts, you could also take this piece of paper, flip it over to give you your background, because you can see it's kind of a, I don't know, paint wash looking kind of background that you could put on your card like this, use this as the background, and put a couple die cuts on the front of it. That would also work. Card number 4. Card number 4. Card number 4 gets 2 pieces. Just when I gotta find them. Card number 4 gets a background, and I can't pick them up. And it gets that's not the right piece. What is this? Oh yes, that's why. So number 4 gets a background piece. So the idea on number 4, the way they designed it, was you would put this piece down, give a little bit of color, and then die cut like a shape, an image of something out of this. So the idea behind, you can see it on this card even better, is she's using the branched out dies, which I don't have all of in my case because I said I lent them to for die cutting. And the one I wanted to finish my card is the one that's missing. You can see there's a gap here, right? No. The neighbors decided they need to wash something in the driveway. Oh, she's washing out her bins, her garbage bins. She didn't get approval from the dog ahead of time, so he's not impressed at the moment. But anyway, so you could take that same piece and just die cut something out like with these dies, or you could, like in the example they give in the catalog, and it works. They took a subtle kind of picture, and they like background picture, like it's not big, huge images. And they die cut the big tree that's in the Fall for Twall set. And so they cut the tree out of the DSP and just put it in. And within the tree is little trees, because that's what the pattern on the DSP is, right? So that's the idea. So that's why you get two pieces. The little piece goes like this, and then the big piece. But you can do whatever you want. I think one of her cards, she actually, I think she maybe cut this in half, or you could do it like this, where this is the background and put a little thing in the front. You could cut this down. You could use it like whatever. That's what they've got designed there, though. And then number five gets two pieces. So number 5 gets this as a background. And then it has these two pieces. And what they showed us, where's my scissors? There we go. Yes, I can do that on here, is to make these into a flagged ends, right? So I'm cutting both at the same time. And I'm going to go in the center of the flag, and I'm going to go up about a ½ an inch. And then I'm going to go from each corner to that center point that I just cut. And that gives me an even flag, centered if I did it right. And because I cut, because DSP is lighter weight than cardstock, you could probably do it with cardstock, it just wouldn't be as easy. Because you cut them at the same time, they match, right? So now the idea is that you can put them here like two little flagged pieces, and then you just put your die cuts or sentiments or whatever you want over top. This is where I'm like, it kind of works, it kind of doesn't. The one they picked I like better, but I'll show you when I get to the other one. You could do one each way. I mean, this gives you a bit of a background behind this one. You could also swap out pieces for other cards and have one on here and one on a different card and use a different piece or whatever. But the way it's designed is to put these two flags on this card. And then the last one, and like I said, the one I like the best, which is the simplest, is just the DSPs in the middle, and there's some die cuts and a sentiment in the top. Right? So that's what we ended up cutting. Those are the pieces we cut for the cards. So I'm going to finish those at some point. Oh, this is the tree. This is the offcut of the tree, because I thought, I don't know, I might use this as a template. But you can imagine, so the card they showed, this is how big the die cut they cut out of that one piece was. I have all sorts of stuff on my desk. You never know what I might find. Okay, so now that we've done that, let's see if I can get these cards out and we can actually finish some of them. Maybe not all of them, but some of them. And we'll see, I'll show you some of the changes that I was making. So this is card number 3. I have to get them back in order again. Card number 2. Nope, this is card number 4. I couldn't finish the way I wanted to. There's card number 1. There is card number 6. I'm looking at the pictures that I wrote, and enough. I know I have enough. Oh, wait a minute. This is. Oh, no, this is card. That's card number 3. Where's card number 2? 1. I think that's just card number 2. I was trying to do something else with it, though. I'll show you what I was doing afterwards. So this is the same thing. I cut out of the paper. Now, here's the part I'm going to tell you. And here's the part where I'm going to say, and it's actually a pet peeve of mine when people, complete strangers especially, say, I give you permission to, because you're a grown adult, grown arse adult. Can I say that? You do whatever you want. But I'll show you some things that I like what I do, just to give you ideas. So this is the paper, right? Absolutely love plaid. Love plaid. So I just realized what time it is. Yeah, we're definitely not finishing these today. So I do want to put the plaid down. Now, when I flip the plaid over, and this one, why do I have a full sheet? Because I did it backwards. That's what screwed me up. Okay, so this is how this is supposed to be, right? This is card number 4. So this is supposed to go down one side, and then the other side gets something die cut out of it. So if I took this piece and I took a big die cut out of it or something to put over top, but I don't think those two go together. It's my point. Now, sometimes I find DSP where I absolutely love both sides, and that's actually I'm not always happy when that happens, because then I have to figure out, well, which side do I want to use? And oh, I like that one. And Most of the time, I really like one side, not so crazy about the other side, but I like it. On occasion, I will find one where I'm not crazy about either side. It doesn't happen often. I'm trying to figure out what I did. Askel. Sorry, I just figured out what I did with my DSP. I forgot to tell you what this was. So this is the Traditions of Christmas DSP. And this is one of those DSPs that is like, it's just odd, I guess. I'm gonna see if I can, I'll see if I get all the, I've been cutting up this paper quite a bit, so I have it. Okay, so here's one side of the DSP, which is Secret C, and it is awesome. Look at that. This side is the other side. It's okay. When I first saw this, and if you see this in the catalog and all you see is the bold matches the set Traditions of Christmas, you might be like, but if you see the other side, it's all these awesome patterns that I love. It's not that I mind the other side, but I absolutely love the pattern side. So this is one of the other ones. That's the pattern. And then, as you can see, I have been cutting out of this one. Well, maybe you can't, but there's like a hole in the corner. I was punching squares out of it. So this one is nice. And I don't have this bundle, but I'm pretty sure that there's a die in the bundle that will cut these bouquets out for you, right? So that's what I mean by cutting out the DSP. If not, you could fussy cut one of these out, right? And so for one of these cards, I could actually just take from a different piece of paper and cut this out to put on it if that's how I want to make it work, right? Like the one where you die cut an image out of the DSP or cut an image. Well, maybe I don't want to cut it out of that other paper. Maybe I just want to use this one. I'm allowed to. Here's another one, Secret C. And this paper is not even limited, honestly, to being Christmas paper. Because if you use the back side of this, nobody would ever know it was Christmas paper. That's the front side of that paper. I really should do this faster. I'm yammering away now. Okay, so this is the one that I just used with the two different sides, which look at how pretty this paper is, though. Right? Honestly, it is just personal taste at this point. And then see, even this one, it's got little polka dots on it. It's like tone on tone cobbler with polka dots. And I'm really annoyed that the sun is doing what it's doing right now. And then this is the other side of it. And so there's a bit of Secret C in here, and there's also a bit of petal pink, right? So the poinsettias are here are pink because the sun is shining. I don't know if you can see that as clearly. And then the last one is one of my favorite pieces. And this is one of the ones where I all of a sudden had to be different because, as you'll see, I only have this much left of the other page. So this is the page, which is this green plat, which is fantastic. And I really like it, and I made awesome cards with it. But the piece of paper that I liked the best out of the entire package is this side. And it's kind of surprised me that I liked it as much as I did because it's gold, and I don't really like gold. But it's like just cobbler and gold, and it's like solid. Oh, I love this piece of paper. But any one of these pieces of paper, I had the same thought about. I don't really know that I would flip either one of these to make cards. Like, right? It just wasn't what I was doing. So now that I've screwed up my entire thing, because normally if I cut a piece off of paper, I move it to the front of my little package, so I know I've already started one. But well, I'll figure that out later. Because you guys have been very patient. I know how squirrely I am right now. Because I've been squirrely like that for a while. Hello, Tamara. I don't know if you just joined me or if I just but your comment just popped up. Okay, right. I'm gonna drop the paper on the floor. Okay, so here's my point. I picked the paper I like the best, mostly because I like the plaid, but the backside is not necessarily what I want it to be. And what is going on with the whole? Just one second here. I'm about to wrap up, but I'm still going to see if I can fix the lights. One, I forgot to turn the overhead light on. I just have the desk lights on, but no, it's just because the sun has decided to hit at just that moment. I'm going to have to make a note to myself. It's that time of year where the sun shifts, and now I'm going to have to actually close my blinds so that it doesn't keep doing that. Oh, okay. So I said earlier that all these weird different things keep popping up. Some of them on Canva or on Zoom, and some of them are on YouTube. So on YouTube, beside your name, very distractingly, I think it's a crown and a number 1. There's a big label beside every comment you make. Crown number 1. So you're number 1, Tamara. Okay, so here was my point anyway. So for example, this one is supposed to have this as a background, and then I'm supposed to cut a big die cut image out of this. Got my stuff covered up. So possibly what I would do is I could cut one of these labels out and put it over top. I'm not 100% that goes together. So what I could also do is take my piece of paper that I don't think goes with it, set it off to the side, and use it on a different card. And I don't know, this is not really the right one either, but and take a different piece and put it over top. I was using that for something else, but right. So don't get, well, actually, that's not as bad as I thought. Don't get stuck on the fact that it's a one sheet wonder and you can only use one sheet. If you have a package of paper, oh, you're my queen. Oh, thank you. Oh, you see the, okay, crown and a number one. There you go. All hail Queen Tamara. Sorry, I got totally distracted with that. Okay. If you've taken out your one sheet and yes, technically you want to do a one sheet wonder, but really it's just giving you a bunch of sizes and patterns and layouts for cards is what it's doing, right? Here's how you cut your paper. So if you have a scrap of paper, like this was already in my desk. This is 3x4 because I told you it's a very common size. It was left over because I had cut a different 4-inch strip and was cutting pieces off, and I had 3 inches left. So I already have this piece that goes here. I could switch this out if I wanted. It's the exact size. Or you could just take the sheet of paper and go, I want to make this card, but I want to make it with this background, and just cut it specifically to that size. You don't always have to use an entire sheet. Now, if you, for some reason, only own one sheet of TSP, then you have to find ways to work with it. One of the things I was going to do on this card is, and you can add to this as much as you want, right? Like it shows to just put this piece of paper down, and then it had like some stuff in the corner, right? A sentiment and some die cuts or a label or something in the corner. But I was choosing, because this is a big, bold piece of paper. I cut one of these out. The one that I need is the one in between. So I couldn't cut this. And I'm going to cut this same shape, layer it on top and put it here. And then I'm going to put a little thing in the corner because I want to tone this paper down a little bit. Okay. So that's one way to do it. This one, you look at this in, so one of the techniques I told you was to like cut something out of the die cut out of the paper. And this one looks like, well, how could I do that? It's all overlapping and everything. But I'm going to cut a square corner here, because here I don't know where, like that's not going to work as well. But I'm going to cut around this pointed center, and I'm going to cut around this whatever white flower this is, and these leaves, and I'm going to have it so it's like a little bit edgy, and then the rest is just going to be a corner. And I'm going to mount it down in the corner with, I told you this embossing folder was awesome. Look at this embossing folder. So I'm going to put that in the corner, because that's what they show on number 3, right? It had a die cut, but you could also have an embossed layer. And I'm going to put this in the corner so that this sort of, right? And then I might use this because this is part of the ephemera pack with the gold. And I think it will go very well with this. And it'll end up sitting basically on those red pointed centers anyways. Or I actually found that on my desk. That's why I changed my mind afterwards. My original plan was just to layer a couple squares and put those in the corner. So it'll be something like that. This one over here, I told you when we were cutting the other paper, it's designed to go like this and to flip these two over and have 2 banners. Well, not only do I not think this particular paper goes here, but it also, I need the 2 banners to not be the same. Now I can't keep one, and that doesn't work for me either. So what I did was I went into my pack of paper, because I have an entire pack of paper, and I thought, well, maybe I'll do this instead, right? And then I'll put my little label on top of it. So I didn't actually cut these into banners. Here's the thing. If you don't like banners, don't cut your cards into banners, right? Just leave. Good boy. And you too, rascal. My son just walked in the door and the dog didn't make any noise. You guys have no idea. That he's come a long way. So yeah, if you don't want to cut these, like flag them as banners, then don't, right? And maybe with these 2 darker red things over top of it, thank you very much. Maybe I do want to put this side up, and maybe I want to put these on. As I see it, in my head goes, oh my God, no, but maybe, maybe depending on the paper, right? So like I told you at the beginning, we're not finishing these cards because I don't have all the things I need to do them, but I want you to, I'm going to post the measurements. I want you to give it a try, but I want you to play and make little tweaks as you need. If you want to make 6 cards with 1 sheet of paper, you can make it work. Like I said, this paper was the perfect selection to do that because the way the 2 pages work together is awesome. I remembered my other point I was going to tell you. The one where it says to doodle on, the one technique was you could draw on or doodle on your paper. And I said you could draw in between things. You could also take a picture like this and you could stamp directly on it because, or not a picture, DSP, because this DSP has a very subtle pattern. You could very easily stamp on it and that would make it like a textured background with Stampin', right? You could also do the same thing on your flags, right? Stamp on one, but not the other one. And then you can use 2 of the same pieces of paper and they will look like 2 different pieces of paper because one has stamping on it. Okay. All sorts of techniques. So this is a really good choice if you just have 1 piece of paper and you want to make 6 cards. If you want to make 12 cards, pick 2 pieces of paper that go well together, cut 2 of them, and then mix and match them between the pieces so that you can take something like a different piece. What's on the back side of this one? This. I gotta pick one where I actually have 2 scraps. Something like this, right? Like, so if I had chosen this piece of paper and this piece of paper, then I could do this, right? So I could take, and then these 2 pieces that were supposed to be on here, I can flip one of these over and I can go put it on the back of this, right? So make 2 pieces and make it 12 cards instead of 1, it's 6. Or instead of 1 piece making 6, 2 makes 12. Many, many things you can do. And in the end, you'll have your little pieces, which I will now finish because now I have the pieces. Here's the other thing too. I have this somewhere on my desk. Oh, right in front of me. Right, like literally right in front of me. I always have this thing when I cut, I tend to cut extras. So I always have this. Some of these are retired, some of these are current. The only thing I would advise is if you're making multiples, try to use the current ones because you can always cut more. The retired ones, who knows what might be in here, right? And if you still have the thing to make more, I have big ones, little ones, whatever. I also have like leftover things from other ones. Just because all the pictures you see are circles and squares or banners or whatever, doesn't mean that you can't make other shapes work. Now I picked that up and I can't put it down anywhere. It's not going to fall. Because this particular one, it works on like just about any card layout. You can do this and now that I didn't actually have to use them, but these are the wrong colors. But these are the sprigs that come with the branching out. Right? And you can just tuck a couple sprigs in behind and you're good. And because your label is a bigger size, it tends to cover up a little more of your card. So you're not looking like, that's upside down. You're not just looking at day glow like DSP. You've got that. It's super simple to cut like this, add a label, add a couple die cuts or a little bit of stamping, and boom, you have a cool card. Okay, I gotta move these out of the way because I need to use my cutter. I will show you, remember I told you this brown paper that I embossed? I also use that same brown foil paper to cut little baby acorns out of. And are these not like the nicest acorns you've ever seen? Oh, okay. Okay, so last thing I'm going to tell you, I need the right piece of paper, is let's say you don't want all of your cards to be plaid. So this is the side you want. But you know what? You're tired of looking at this much busy pattern. Here's another trick for you. Take your paper and take your cutter. I'm using this one just because it fits on my very small working space that I currently have. And cut some strips. So I'm cutting and I'm flipping this just because I don't want to have to do the thing with the paper. Like I said, you can just use your bone folder to kind of smooth down the edge. But my favorite, and I know Tracey's a weirdo, but I do have a favorite size strip. My favorite size strip is 3/4 of an inch. 1/2 inch works and 1 inch works. I like an odd number of strips. But if you want to tone down a pattern of paper, did I just cut that the right side? Oh, I did. Okay. Then take the pattern and cut it into strips instead. Now, in this case, I probably should have kept track of what order that was in, but it doesn't matter. Now, depending on the pattern, you can also flip your strips. It's like flip the script, flip the strip. And you will have like a little bit of leftover. I have this leftover piece. Seriously, the lighting has gone all to pot in here and it's gone very crazy. But I also find that if your patterns don't match as well as you would like, when they're in smaller amounts, they match better. There's no science behind that. It's just what I think. But so I did this and I have 3 of the strips. So the pointed centers are 3/4 of an inch. And the 2 plaid pieces are 1 inch. And I did this because it usually works. Like I like to have a little variety. Now, if you want all even and you want to be able to put, what did I do with it? You want to be able to put a label over top of it, then maybe cut them all the same size, or maybe do some measuring first. But this generally works. But the beauty of this is I've got my strips here. Where'd my stamp set go? There it is. And depending on the stamp set, but most of them you can make it work. This says, to a very special someone. You can leave it so that you have a little, like, this is how you deal with the unevenness too. But if you intentionally do it so that they're not, because this is 5.5, right? If you want 5 strips on 5.5 and you make them probably 7/8, you would get 5 even strips that you could space evenly and it would cover your whole card front. But I wanted a line, so now I have a line that I can stamp in. I can stamp my sentiment there, and then I can just take a couple little sprigs or a bow or a whatever. I can also stamp my sentiment on a strip of white cardstock, because Lord knows we all have white strips, right? To put it there. But now look at how cute that card is, if you imagine that I had actually stamped something there. But now I can just put a little bit here to offset my length of my thing, and boom. So I've made my mismatch work. I've made my bold pattern work. I've added a sentiment, and I've changed up my pattern without adding any supplies. One sheet wonders are so much fun to play with. and once you do them, I think you'll get more used to which is the right paper to pick. Like I said, I wanted to use this paper because I wanted this plaid, because when I saw her picture, our little artisan, when I saw her picture, I was like, oh my God, that's almost what I'm making. And having seen her picture, I thought mine's going to work the way I thought it would work. I have slightly different stuff, but I really wanted to use this paper, and I really wanted to use the branching out dies. So I picked the paper that worked for the one, like my favorite card that I was trying to make, knowing that it wasn't exactly, these are the wrong color, green, but knowing that it wasn't exactly going to work out, but it was going to work out enough. The other thing, in this branching out dies, which I absolutely adore, it comes with this one really long piece, but I don't want it quite that long. So just find a place that, and that was not the place, that has like a weird look to it. But if I skip and go down a little bit, that's the place. I can cut these into 2 sprigs that are a little bit shorter, and then I can put my label on, which was my plan. I was going to say, if you want to like disguise the stems, you could always put your acorns at the bottom, but I fear a couple acorns hanging out the bottom might have the wrong look. Maybe it will work. Maybe it's just me. But see, this was my idea. Only I would use the right colors so that it would match. So I because I do this, I know what I want to change out and what I don't. So I picked the pattern that I knew was not the perfect pattern because it worked for the like most of the cards and then my one favorite card that I was trying to do. And then I just find other ways, or I take in other scraps to make the other ones work. Like this would be great if I cut this one up. I could put this one in between. Oh, look at that. And you could also have like 3/4 inch, 1/2 inch, and 1 inch, and then you'd have even more variability in here. And you could add an extra couple strips of a different color. You guys go play. That's all I can say. Go play. I know, right? Dangling acorns. I can't help myself. Anyways, I will finish these cards up. My IT department has returned, and I have guys. This is what I told you. Tamara is the machine. These are the dies she used, and she has cut, I don't know, 8,000 pieces of everything for extravaganza. You really should come to extravaganza because it's awesome. But now that I have all these pieces back, I can finish the cards. And now that I cut 2 pieces of paper, I guess I'll just have to make more cards. But I love this paper. Ooh, I love this paper. And as much as this goes really well, like this is the basic beige color, I will be making card bases out of Cajun. I'm going to say darling duckling or crushed curry, depending which one that is, and early espresso with some like maybe the labels will be basic beige, but this paper is awesome. So I'm going to make 2 sets of these cards, and I should have them ready to post on Friday. And I will do a little more research to find out about the world's weirdest trip to the mailbox and see if I can't find you some actual dates for my weird letters. And I'll have that all posted on Friday. So I went over. I apologize. Well, technically, I was only an hour long, but I started 15 minutes late because technology. But thanks for hanging in there with me and putting up with the squirrels. Did I mention squirrels? I mean, seriously, they're the cutest squirrels. It was very well timed. And we will see you guys all next week. Maybe a little less squirrely. Okay? Bye. Take care. Thanks, Tamara.